Hello, welcome to Seeking Heaven, the near-death experience and other phenomena. If you haven't seen any of the videos, check it out and subscribe and like, and thanks for being a part of this today. So for the month of February, we have something called Love Leader Lessons. We're going to have every Monday at 6 p.m. and Friday at 6 p.m. I call them a love leader expert, but someone that is spiritual, that is known in the public eye, whether they're a near-death experiencer or a spiritually transformative experiencer, a healer, whoever that may be. We're going to have some terrific people that are lined up for you. But this is just to remind us that we are loved and how to offer more love to others. So today's guest, let me tell you a little bit about them. Their book, Angels in the OR, What Dying Taught Me About Healing, Surviving, and Transformation, as well as her other book she's written recently, which is Loving Narcissist and Sometimes God. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But she has a very impressive background, our speaker today. She's a college professor. She's a professional writer. She was featured on the show I Survived, Beyond and Back, and Life to Afterlife. And that was on Coast to Coast. She's been on the Dr. Oz show. I was so proud of her when that happened. And she is always rocking and rolling. She's a graduate from the University of Texas. I'm sure her students just love the heck out of her. And she's also a host of a very popular YouTube channel called which is on near-death experience, Healed by the Light. Now, she also has a website. We're going to put it at the bottom so you can see the many things that she's doing. So I wanted to introduce today our love leader, Tricia Barker.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, you have just done so much to help with healing and love on this planet. And I know you come from a place of you're sincere about it and you're passionate and you're doing this for all the right reasons, which that's why I did it, to help people and to create a soul community and to share a bit of myself. And I can tell you it's not easy. It's a little scary being vulnerable. And you know, I have a lot of respect for you leading that way in that and just being yourself, and it gives everybody else courage to be themselves.
Yeah, you know, healing is a process, but it's a beautiful process. And we can make huge breakthroughs through energy healing, through connecting with God. And I think the near-death experience really showed me that. And I think we're going to make massive breakthroughs in the next few years around healing. And I have a lot of hope.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, I think that a lot of the light leaders have really stepped it up, and everybody's trying to put themselves out there. Like one of the love leaders toward the end of the month is Peter Panagore, and he has the Not Church. So everybody's doing their own little version of how to spread love and some spiritual comfort, if you would say, and wisdom to people. Now, today's topic, and you know, I don't know what you're going to say, but whatever you say is fantastic, is love starts with you. And one of the reasons this topic came up, and I really thought of you, and we discussed this, is because you have been a renegade, a fearless warrior, and always really coming back to you and putting you first. And it hasn't always been easy, but you know, through abuses and through, you know, your career or whatever, is just putting you first, and you do it in such a gentle, loving way with vulnerability. And I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. It's not easy, but you share yourself really more than the average person, I think, not oversharing, but you get out of that comfort zone, and it shows, you know, what a renegade. So I wanted you to talk about, you know, putting yourself first, self-worth, maybe neglect, abuses, hardships, and just how you see it, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with, you know, I was a neglected, abused child, and many people are, and it's not 100%. There's happy memories and there's good things that parents do, and then there's, you know, the neglect and the abuse. And however, that affected me so much more than I realized, and I thought I could just get over it all, get to college, you know, be successful in the world and be fine. And I think a lot of people do think that, but they're missing all this deep internal work and spiritual work that they need to do. The near-death experience showed me the energy of love, what that felt. And I know you've had many of those jumps into that light, and you know how jarring it is in comparison to this world. So you're there, you feel like perfect love just raining into your soul. You feel like, I'm loved exactly the way I am. I'm this child of God. Oh, everything is wonderful. And then you're back here. And back here, it's like, whoa, wait, why are you treating me this way? What's going on?
And it's also a lower vibration here. I mean, I hate to say that, but it is, you have, you know, nice people, holy people, okay people, mean people. You have all types over there. It's just love. So it's hard to adjust. Didn't you say when you came back you wanted to kiss people or whatever?
Oh yeah, I felt my energy just like blending with people. I held their hands, you know, I wanted to hug people all the time. I just felt like one with all people. And, you know, I think you bring up a good point. Like spiritual teachers can be, you know, like hiding behind a lot of darkness. Ministers can be abusive. There's all these people that we trust and we think, oh, they're in the spiritual light, and they're actually very abusive. And so then parents can be, so we come back here and we're like, who do I trust? And after a while, you know, it gets scary to be authentic and true and real and keep encountering people who are coming from the darkness. But what I realized is like, that's not what's important. What's important is I have a connection to the light, and I know it now because of that near-death experience, and it can heal things quicker. It can right things, and it's really all that matters. So, you know, when you look back at a relationship and say, and I've had a negative one or two, you know, after my near-death experience, and say you look back and you're like, wow, that person was disrespectful and coming from a place of self-sabotage, and really a lot of the wounds that I had in that relationship were just collateral damage for their self-hate, you know, that person's self-hate. What I do is go, okay, you know, just because I experienced a lack of respect doesn't mean that I have to stay there. I can get out quickly. I know what that love of God feels like. I can become stronger because of this. I can help people see the signs quicker. I can be more open to that love coming in all different forms. I think so often we want a relationship to replace the pain of our childhood, but you really have to, as many times as it's been said, love yourself and accept that love of God first. You know, that when that is really clear, that's the most important thing.
No, absolutely. Well, you know, and I'm thinking that there are so many people that are watching that have had different forms of abuse. And what's interesting, and I made a joke about it, and I love your book that you were talking about, loving narcissists, and sometimes God. You got to say it like sometimes God. But only till recent. Look, I find myself pretty well read, and I've been, you know, in the spiritual afterlife topic at least since. Well, that's not true. I was 12. My guy just is wrong. Now, I used to watch paranormal stuff like at 3 and close my eyes, but so that's not true. But there are so many people that are watching that don't realize, you know, what abuse is. And when I saw Narcissist, I was telling you recently that I said, oh yeah, I know what that is. You know, people are stuck on this stuff, but I didn't realize there's a display of qualities that, and I went, oh my God, that's why people that maybe you might be related to even that you love, but you can never get their love, and they really, you know, might not really, you know, they care about you if it affects them, but otherwise they don't really care. And that is shocking when I realized this is actually a thing, and the abuse, there are the techniques they use as far as making you less, making them more. And then that's not to say they may say some nice things every now and then, but the vast majority, that's just to keep you on the hook. But the vast majority is horrible. And I love how you have really addressed and continue to address. And it's awful because I've had abuse growing up. It's not pleasant. And I'm not that thing. I'm so much more than that. And that's the thing, we want to get past whatever so we can truly live the life we're here for. But I can say that it does take courage to look at these things, but at the same time, remembering the love of God. And of course, you know, I saw Jesus. I mean, it was good love. It was good stuff. It's not human. It was like, you're perfect. I'm like, no, I'm not. But that kind of love, you know, and you don't see it here, I think sometimes come to a bull or a head that's nasty and ugly, because God loves us so much. He wants that part of whatever it is, whether it's now or in the past, to go away. So can you speak on all that?
Yeah, and I have a lot to say on this. You know, what is interesting to me is some souls are not ready to be honest, and authenticity is a big part of not being a narcissist and not abusing people. But there are some people who refuse to be their true selves, and they refuse to take accountability for the lies that they tell, the manipulation that they put out there. So until someone has experienced one of these relationships, they, in a romantic sense, they have no idea what they're dealing with. Someone can be so good with words, study you, promise you everything that you've ever wanted. And so you're sucked in with this belief that, oh, wow, this is my soulmate. They like all the same things. They want all the same things. They're just like me. Oh, my God. And then it gets complicated. And then there's the trauma hooks. And it's not easy to get out of, because you fall in love with their false self that they've put forward, you know, that is just great and wonderful and everything you've ever wanted. And you keep trying to get back to that, but it never existed. So they're just putting forth this false self.
So
And
it's a marketing package. It's like a package they put together of themselves that's not really the core person.
Yeah. And if you catch glimpses of the core person, you catch someone who's very scared and very manipulative. And you want to think, oh, that's just like their negativity. But that's really who they are. And this is so confusing for people. So what do you do if you've been in a relationship with someone who lied to you, cheated on you, you know, like just the whole thing, you know, and just have this false front? You love yourself for being authentic. You really just go, you know what, thank you, God, that I am able to have a true, simple heart, that I'm able to love people openly. You find your tribe of people who are open and authentic and honest and healing and doing their best. And if you get lucky, you find someone and you do fall in love after a bad relationship, but this person gives you space to heal, because that's kind of a hallmark maybe of someone who's not a narcissist, is someone can go, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, you know, let's give each other space and really support each other to be the best people that we can be. A narcissist will always energetically leave you a little drained. And that's the part that is, you know, for those who are energetically sensitive, you might think, wow, this person's doing all these nice things for me, and then they're just kind of leaving me less than I am, and I don't know why. And that's important to pay attention to.
So these are good for people to point out. It could be romantically, it could be friendships, honestly. Someone that you've known for years, and you know, however you met them, and you're just kind of hanging on because maybe your family knows their family. It could be that. It could be family members. So maybe describe, you know, I think this is really important to be able to move forward in life. If there's a problem or something that's making you not happy, you need to identify the problem. So if you could expel out what are some signs that are from a narcissist, what you would, and the techniques they use, like explain gaslighting. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, yeah, gaslighting is so bizarre. But yeah, it's just, it didn't happen, or it's minimized, or you make too much of that, or you're too sensitive. You know, an easy one that happens is someone makes a joke and it kind of cuts at you, and you think, oh, am I too sensitive? You know, am I on my period? Am I, you know, am I just being, you know, like, I'm serious. Like, am I being too hormonal? Am I making, no, if it hurts, it hurts. You know, like, you own your feelings. And that's important information, to not let people disrespect you, and to put up boundaries early, because a good person will go, okay, that's that person's boundary. They don't feel comfortable with that. Other people feel comfortable with a lot of teasing in that way. So everyone has different boundaries. That's one way. But gaslighting is the worst, when it is someone is hiding what they're doing, and to pivot away from it, they will start attacking you, pointing out what you've done, and call it worse than what they've done. They'll never address, like, oh, I'm sorry, did that hurt you when I contacted my ex and didn't tell you about it? And you happen to find out, you know, like, a narcissist would never do that. They'd say, well, you do this and you do this, and someone commented on your.
They never admit it.
Yeah.
What I find is they put it back on you when something's going, like, well, why are you saying that? Nobody says that. Or the common ones I've heard is, well, no one will believe you. or or it could be you're crazy, you know, or like undermining the example that you gave, like, oh, you're just too sensitive. Why do you? This is the one I got growing up. You ready? This is crazy. Doesn't even make sense. You're gonna laugh. You think too much.
Oh yeah.
Heard of that one? And I'm like,
That one.
movie, and I go, yeah, I think that you think too much. But I heard you think too much. I'm like, how can you think too much? Is your brain gonna explode? I mean, I mean, tell that to Einstein. You think too much. So, but these are little ways to undermine people, and I think that it's done because to boost themselves up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, again, it's that dishonesty of not wanting to confront reality. Because if someone confronted reality, they'd have to say, "Oh yeah, I'm lying to you. I've cheated on you. You know, I've done that." Or a parent, "Oh, I've been a bad parent. I'm selfish." I mean, they can't even
have to get all these sinful things they did against you, and all these lies, and and I don't know if, and maybe you could answer this. I don't know if someone who's a narcissist or egotistical, whatever you want to call it, self-consumed, if they would. I mean, first of all, if they were caught red-handed with something, they go, yeah. So, but what is it that how can you tell in the first few? How can you tell who you're dealing with something like this to move away from people like that, because they're tricky?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess the thing to pay attention to is how badly something makes you feel. So, and unfortunately, therapists sometimes are not trained to help protect people from narcissists, and that gets really confusing because, say, someone lies to you, contacts an ex, does it, they can go to the therapist and say, "Oh, I was just so afraid she might get angry. She's so volatile. I didn't want to tell her about contacting my ex. I'm her with this relationship." And so the therapist is like, "Hey, it's kind of common for people to, want to contact their ex, but all the while, that you come from a more honest place. You would have said, 'Hey, I'm going to contact my ex. I need closure.'" Just giving someone a heads up, and you've even talked about that with that person. So you have to go, "You know what? This crosses my boundary. It hurts no matter what anyone says, and I can't deal with it." And that's knowing your boundaries, I think, is the key point. And knowing, like, God wants the best for us. God doesn't want anything that isn't loving and uplifting. And people in a relationship should be each other's cheerleaders, should not be stressing each other out. Yes, people have conflicts, and I could ask you, like, how you get over them in marriage. But in general, like, people should be there as a support system for one another, not draining one emotionally. And if you're in a relationship where someone's constantly draining you, over the things that they do, it's not worth it.
Right, absolutely. And there's also takers. The people that are takers, they usually are the ones that adore you in the beginning and buy you stuff, and then later on they begin taking. So they usually give a lot, and then they start taking. So, types that we mentioned a couple types of abuse, but moving forward, when I think of abuse, I think about, okay, you can be on one hand, or you can be on the other hand a victor. So. The thing is, when you're a victim, you're not empowered. You're not living in your personal space, and I like what we talked about pre-show. You were talking about how, God is your strength and connecting to God, and also about really building your own self-worth. And so you can take that back. And I know you've done that. And it's, it's a process with people that have been victimized. I understand, because I understand it's a process. But tell us how you do that. What's your practice? Because it's not like you do it and then it's gone, because there's people out here you might meet, right? So how do you?
So what I found, and this is like pre-near-death experience and after near-death experience, these are the things that work. Meditation. So I have a meditation community. I upload meditations, upload them occasionally to
our YouTube podcast. It's good.
Yeah, so I believe that however you want to connect with God, there can be instant healing. Working with energy healers can work. But when I stay in motion to help other people, that helps me as well. So I know, like, moving forward, helping students or helping someone, in a reading who has had a problem with a brother or sister or parent, and you know, maybe it was an abusive relationship to some degree, but when there's healing from the other side, there's so much relief. You know, like love is all that matters and all that we take with us. So yes, we have to protect ourselves from these situations because we don't want to go down paths for a long period of time where we're disrespected. And that's basically what being with a narcissist is eventually like, is you're just constantly disrespected. So you just don't want to do that to yourself. You want to respect yourself because you are that child of God and you are so loved. And when you really connect with that energy through meditation, through prayer, through helping other people, you're in the flow of a lot of goodness. And I like to think that healing can happen sooner than later. Sometimes it's hard. You know, like I know that people who've been in abusive relationships can suffer health issues, real health issues, because of the trauma they've been through. But I believe in healing, and I believe in that possibility for everyone. So, you know, it's just the direction that you can go in, and you can believe in faster healing. I think near-death experiencers show the way, because when you connect with that kind of download,
we did something, didn't we? We agreed to it.
yeah,
We just throw ourselves, you know. But here's the thing: there is no easy out. So people are like, oh, it sounds so great on the other side. Look, suicides. You know, I get that a lot. People ask, but suicides, they come through and they make it on the other side, but they come through going, wow, who knew? I didn't know that, you know, and they get counseling, they get help over there. But let's just say, you know, in this world, if you flunk third grade, you're going to have to take it again. So there's no easy out. So if you fast track it, that means you're going to have to take these lessons anyway. So you can take them slow, or you can take them fast. And what my favorite of all is when you get a lesson and you don't learn, and it comes back again. And guess what? You didn't quite get it. It comes back again, but every time it comes back more severe. So I'm like paying attention. My eyeballs are huge.
Yeah.
Just, okay, no, what do you do?
Amen to that. You know, like, what I believe is, after abuse, the best thing you can do for yourself is invest in yourself and be successful, and not even think about that person energetically. Divorce yourself from that person. If it's a family member, that's a different topic, and we can get into, you know, how to hang on to people with boundaries who are in your family. But some people feel happier cutting out toxic family members too. So that's just the reality.
Yeah, you're right. And some need to, because maybe the behavior is not in the past, maybe it's still continuing. And just for your own self-preservation, it's not that you don't still love them from a distance. You might have to, and that's a personal choice. And some people don't understand that. Why would you detach from a parent? Well, you know, per definition, you know, parents are supposed to love and protect you. But if they're getting you coked up and pimping you out, or maybe not, you know, not positive, right? I mean, you have to make personal choices. So now tell us a little bit, I'm curious about the book. What inspired you to write the book, Loving Narcissists and Sometimes God?
Well, I kind of wanted to make fun of myself, because here I am, this near-death experiencer who talks about that. But then here I am also this woman who is divorced and, you know, has dated and has not always had a happy go of it, you know, with relationships. And I was like, what am I doing? Am I focusing too much on attractive men or funny men? Or what am I doing that, you know, why am I attracted to some narcissistic men? And is this a pattern? And how can I become aware of the pattern? And, you know, obviously spirituality is a big part of my life. And so I thought, you know what? No, I need to move God in front of men. You know, that God is who's taking me.
Good choice.
You know, and God is, and so God needs to be first, and all of that needs to be second or third or fourth, or, you know, way down the line. I think I'm second, you know, like there's God, and then there's me, and then there's the possibility of, you know, work and relationships and all those wonderful things that life has to offer. But when you put it more in its place, then of course you're not going to feel like, oh, I'm going to just not have a life without this person. You're like, I have God, I have my own life, and it can hurt still, but you're sovereign. And I think that that's what a lot of women especially are trying to find in their lives, is this sense of sovereignty. And we have that through God. We have that love. We are carried home through God. But I'm a poet, and that book is poetry that I've written for 20 years. So some of it's focused on relationships, some of it's focused on spirituality, and I put the ones focusing on God towards the end, because we become more spiritual as we get older. Like we're not out having as much fun. We're home meditating more.
Sometimes life's so funny. I look back and think about people, how they come to spirituality. I'm like, gosh, I remember time I was partying, doing the scene, going out, I'm going, really? But this is really my true self. But I have to laugh, like, really, you're waiting all this time. So it's kind of a joke. But the thing that you talk about, the writing and poetry, what helped me, I'll tell you a little tip, and also to kind of validate what you were saying, as growing up, I had child abuse. My stepdad sexually molested me, but it was more than that. It was a mind game. He would always really tear down everybody the women anyway, and horrible. The things that were said, oh, you'll never make it in life, you'll never be successful, just terrible things. You know what I did? I would tune that out, because I knew that's mean and crazy. So I used to draw, and I would get into my artwork. And so my therapy was art. And that's why so much people, you see creative people, they'll either be writers, poets, they may write songs, they may write music, they may do artwork, because I have to say, even to this day, it's an amazing outlet, because you have to take that, like you were saying earlier, I don't know if you remember you said that, whatever happens to you, you have to do something with it. Whether you write a piece of paper, you write it, to that person, and then you burn it, or what's another one, you can imagine whatever people said going on a hot air balloon. But another way is just, you can express it through art and through music, because that's your soul connecting to God. So to me, when you're talking about your book of poetry, not only is it helpful to others, but was it healing for you too?
Oh yeah. The minute you write something, it's outside of you, and it becomes that creation, and it gives you that detachment. And I think in general, we all need some detachment. And that's one of the beautiful things of a near-death experience too, is it's depersonalized. Your soul is there with God, and you're looking at this body, this vehicle that you're coming through, and you have a little bit of detachment. And that is just the breath of air that we all need. It's just a little detachment, and a little humor, and a little lightness, and a little compassion for ourselves for being here, and love for ourselves for all that we've gone through. And yeah, your point about art is great. I mean, like, how many amazing musicians and how many wonderful artists have had painful lives? In fact,
Yeah, a lot.
There's a therapist who told me once, and I had to laugh. She was like, well, do you think you chose your mom because you wouldn't have been a writer without her? And I was like, oh.
The fact is, in between lives that I've run a lot of past lives, a few in between lives. And we do pick each other. We really do. And it is like parts in a play. And I know that's hard to chew off for a lot of people. And I get that. I get it. So, but we're learning something. I think that we agreed to the lesson, but we might not fully know what the lesson is. Maybe it's to learn humility, but we may not know that encompasses X, Y, Z. So yeah, I know we picked them. Here's the thing: if we were just put on this planet just to love a bunch of really nice people, it would really be totally heaven on earth. But instead, we have people that are difficult and not lovable to love, and then yet we're supposed to somehow love everybody as our neighbor, as our brother and our sister. And that's the part where it gets really complicated.
Yeah, and we're trying to raise the consciousness of everyone, by loving. And that's, this is what I think about all the struggles that people have been through. It's a struggle in general in society. So those of us who have survived childhood abuse and have survived these things, we're more prepared to keep loving, and our eyes are more open to what is out there in the world. And when our eyes are wide open, then we can help those kids who are abused. We can help those men and women who are still suffering from the memories of it and trying to heal from it. We can start elevating them, because if you're strong enough to survive it and make something beautiful of your life, then you're strong enough to raise the consciousness of this planet. And that's, it sounds so simple.
No, no, it's beautiful, because I think here's the thing, so many of us really need some type of healing. I think we're all to some degree somewhat broken, you know, to a degree. And whatever that is, I don't know. Life affects people different. You can see that in a family where you have all, you know, a bunch of siblings and they go through the same experience, but they all have a different, you know, feedback of what they thought about it. So, you know, and we're evolving. We're humans. Near-death experiencers, we're part of, you know, we're not perfect. We're still evolving. And there's times, I don't know about you, that you have cognitions like, wow, I forgot. Okay, that happened too. Well, okay. But to me, the way I look at it now is it's just a chapter in your life. That's all. It's just something in the past. Nothing, not the past or the future, and not even today, decides who you are. You do. You are an eternal spiritual being. So we've been many people. We've been male, female, rich, poor. I mean, we've been a lot of things. So I think that if we saw it in a bigger perspective, but the main reason that we're here is to share God's love and to be God's love.
Yeah, and it's all that we take with us. So no matter how hard the journey is, like you think of people like Viktor Frankl, who wrote in a concentration camp, and people who've been through, you know, just enormous difficulties. Mm-hmm. What they hang on to is the beauty and the truth and the love. And so no matter what we have been through in our past, what we're going through now, how are we adding love to this world? How are we adding beauty to this world and to our own experience? You know, how are we loving ourselves through this process, no matter how difficult it is? Because that's what, when we look back, we're like, oh, look at how kind I was to that cashier and it made his or her day. Or look at, you know, these small little moments where love was spread in just simple, glorious ways. And that's, you know, that true wealth is a life that's lived well. And I think we forget that, but we see it on the other side, and it's so affirming, isn't it? You know, like you can have a lot of wealth here and be awful to people, and you're not taking much with you into eternity. And you can have just a moderate amount of stuff and be just this super loving person, and you're taking like just so much into the eternity. It's amazing.
Well, it's, you know, it's a spiritual growth. Whatever we do here that is class toward our spiritual report card or whatever it is, you really do, you pick right up over there. And so nothing is a waste, what you learn spiritually here, and you keep moving forward, not only yourself, but other people as well. So to me, I encourage people to be brave and to step out. And, you know, to really, like you said, see things the way they are. It's not easy, but the thing is, there's so much. Another way to look at it is, what I like to do is I like to get up every morning and be in a state of gratitude. Mm-hmm. And I'm thanking God for my breath, because, you know, we're breathing because God allows that. I mean, otherwise we would not be here. And then you just look at the simple things like, thank you for my hands. I mean, when you're a spirit, you don't have hands. Well, maybe astral hands, but you know, but these are very helpful to do things like cooking and also driving cars and so forth, and just little things like thank God for my dogs. I thank Him for the roof over my head. Just the little, and thank for have my full mind and lost my mind. I mean, people say, "What do I thank you for?" Just simple things. I mean, we're mobile. I mean, there's just so much.
Coffee in the morning, you know, or tea.
Yeah, I mean, and when we look at really our lives for the simple things, and that we have food, shelter, this and that, I think that there's a humility that needs to happen all over the world.
Oh, I just want to talk about this, because so I was at a yoga class, and this woman, very beautiful woman, started complaining about aging and gaining weight. And I just looked at her and I thought she was absolutely gorgeous, and didn't understand why, you know, she was even like worrying about these things in her mind. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God, the near-death experience did teach me some self-love and gratitude. It did teach me to be thankful for every step I took on this earth, because I didn't know if I was going to walk. And I think We all need to do that. Everything that we have, it could be so much worse, like in an instant, like your roof can fall in on you. You're going to have a car wreck. Life is dangerous. There's a lot of possible trauma. So be grateful for everything, your breath, your steps, the people in your life, your ability to make a living, your ability to think, everything is worth being grateful for. And it's like, I wanted to tell her and every woman and every man who's, like looking at themselves in the gym or a mirror or whatever, it's like, hey, just start with love. Start with that unconditional love and then move on from there. And it's hard to do, but if you do it, it makes everything so much more easy.
Well, I will say that the whole self-love thing, there's a couple things that's coming to my mind. As you get older, it's just as hard on men. It is. Men don't like it either. But I think it's so much pressure in society for women to be and act a certain way. But it's funny, who, if I were to be jealous of someone, it would be my younger self. It would be like, I'd like to look like that. Like, it's not other people, but we have to stand in the moment where we are now and go, I am the best part of me. I will say that I like myself now. I feel like I'm more soulful than I was before. And I feel like that I'm really kind of been through a lot. So I feel like a spiritual warrior, and that I'm here, and that I'm still speaking out, and I'm brave in that respect. And that there's something that's even more important, which is your inner beauty shining out. So it's not just, you want to take a bath and have good grooming and breathe. I mean, you definitely want to do those things. But like you were talking about earlier, it was like fashion. I've always loved fashion. It runs in our family. We're really big into that. And I don't have to have the most expensive stuff. I don't care about that. But some people, they just, as long as they're simple, put on a nice clean shirt and pants, it doesn't really matter. But I think it is important to have a good, healthy representation of yourself, and it doesn't have to be fancy. And I think, with the COVID, a lot of people, they're, just walking around in sweatpants and the same t-shirt for 3 or 4 days. God forbid, hopefully not the same underwear. But, that's where, we have to, we want to feel good for us, for ourselves, and present ourselves in the world.
And we all have gifts. I was thinking, like, after COVID is over and, we're at a conference or whatever, you should just like help all of us women, take us shopping and help us pick out things.
please Diva, I don't think I need to do that with you, although I'm still upset you didn't get your hat. I sent you that cool white hat with the it was a white hat. It had a furry pom-pom on it. It was like a little mini pom-pom. And it came in, I was like, as it matched your hair, I was like, this looks like more you. And I was just speaks you. And I was like, I never made it. I don't know why I had it wrapped in leopard paper. It was so cool. And earrings, but that's all right. But the thing is, and that's back to laughter and fun. Some people, especially women in business or women in the public eye, you look back at Mary Tyler Moore and the Virginia Slims, and we were trying to be like men. We can't be like men. Unless you want to be like a man, that's fine. I don't care. But it's hard for me to be like a man. If I was a guy, I would be full on. I would be like female. I would. I can't help it. And you just have to be the best version of yourself, whoever that you are, but to have fun with that. I just life's way too serious. And so, right? And even with clothing, sometimes I like to have fun and whatever, and colors, because colors make me happy. Actually, glitter makes me very happy, and unicorns.
Make me happy too. So I know that's a little
banner and a unicorn at some of my windowsill. I was like, I love that unicorn. And I'm like, I really have not grown up. That's the secret. I have not grown up. I'm such a kid.
If we had our avatars right now, you'd be a unicorn, I'd be a dolphin.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. Well, what I really like, truth be known, I really think I'm a mermaid. And I ride a unicorn, so that covers both.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh wait, with angel wings. Okay. So, I'm a Pegasus. They have angel wings. This is where I live. You know, you have to. You know, one of the funniest things I got to tell you, you're talking about being owning who you are. And sometimes I'll find I do it with myself, and my gosh, the podcast, I love it, and I love communicating with people and bringing beautiful, beautiful people like yourself to shine. I mean, I feel so honored. I mean, it's just it's neat, you know, and it's a reflection of my own self. But it's a lot of work. And sometimes I get really serious with the edits, and I got to get them right. It's a lot of people don't realize it's a lot of work, and I know you do. You've been doing it for some time, but what we'll do, my husband and I will do sometimes, I'm going to tell him myself, Saturday night, we'll eat dinner, and sometimes he'll make me, I do the little, what is it? The zero, no sugar, no whatever. Like, it's like a skinny martini. And then we'll put on the Soul Train line and we'll move the furniture. Oh yes. But it's not regular dancing. It's stupid dancing. It's like really stupid dancing. So you can't wear shoes because you got to really, and then we see who can make each other laugh the most. And I've had to run to the bathroom to go pee because my husband starts breaking out the Egyptian and he starts doing this stuff. And I was like, what are you doing? And then we get to laughing. And I think that it's important just to be silly now and then.
Yeah, this is so important laughter and humor and silliness reminds us of the joy of just being alive. And I think that's one of the key parts to loving life, is just being joyful to be here. But another thing that's healing too, because if you've had a tough childhood or you didn't experience, a lot of safety and fun, these happy moments replace those negative moments. It's really simple moments. So it's like moments in nature, moments in meditation, moments with friends, moments with a partner where you're loving and happy. Those start replacing those moments and you start to feel more grounded. And another thing, even if you're alone, I always like to give people tips. This is something that I've done in times of healing, is I'll think about my little inner child and I'll talk to her and I'll say, well, what would you like to do today, Tricia? And I'll listen. And one time she wanted a unicorn bubble bath. And so I went and I found some colored bubble bath.
Oh God, I'm so jealous. Oh my God.
And so, you just do what the child wants.
Does it make you happy?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Oh no, that sounds great. They have these little, I don't know if you've seen their little balls, and they're different colors. And then when they water, sometimes they're for a bubble bath. And there's a surprise inside, like Cracker Jacks, and you can have. Oh yeah, I love that. I am like a kid. I always ask my husband, "How old are you? How old am I?" He'll go, "You're 12." I went, "Yes, right." And so, and I'm like looking through Barbies. Like, I actually for Christmas got myself a Barbie. People are like, "We have just lost all respect in you, Tamara." But I thought it was so hysterical. I thought I just want to set it out like artwork. It's still in the box, and it's the Barbie. They have Barbies that do everything now, like doctor, veterinarian. Okay, so it was a chicken farmer with red hair and milk boots, and they had the chicken shit in it with the chickens and the eggs. I was like, oh God, I gotta get this. And I thought it was so funny. Every time I ever do any stage stuff, chickens always come through, and I have like the Chicken Whisper that I own a t-shirt, and so I thought this is perfect. But so what I was talking about the chicken and the Barbie was this. See, you got the little you got the little eggs. I don't know if you can see the little eggs here. And then you got the little chickens up at the top, okay? And it's like a little chicken coop. And you got at the bottom, you got little chickens down there. I thought that was hysterical. The Barbie's chicken coop. That just made me laugh to put out. Now I got other people buying me stuff. Mom got me, you can't see it because it's green, but it's Gumby from my childhood. And then I personally like this myself that I have around. I think it's hysterical. It's a unicorn tape thing with rainbow tape, and I think it's hysterical. And what's even more funny is the back of it. It's a unicorn tape dispenser, and it says here, once upon a time in a magical kingdom lived a very handsome unicorn named Stuart. This is Stuart. And it says here, love to dance in rainbows, eat sugar, sprinkles, candy floss. I don't know what that is. With his whimsical charm, he would attract all sorts of friends, breaking curses, spells, and good people's dreams come true. In his spare time, he produces magical rainbow tape, which can be used to fix mistakes or glam up gifts for his friends. He is a magical unicorn named Stuart. And I have the stupid stuff around me. because it makes me smile. So we can always keep that little childlike spark. Just want to show you this, guys. Yeah, like Barbies. My mom took them away when I was 12. She goes, "You're too old." I had like the penthouse. I had I had two houses. One was a penthouse. I had a sports car, a bicycle. I had 2 vans, beach in the mountains. I had all this stuff. And one day at 12, I'm like, "Where are my Barbies?" She's like, "I put them up. You're too old." I was like, "What the hell?" I was so upset. I was like, "I love my Barbies. I lived through them. I visualized I had a Manhattan penthouse with my Barbies, and then she had her her gay friend Kim would come help her, and they go shopping, and it was her best friend, and then she dated G.I. Joe, but he was really short. He was really macho, and yeah, when she took it away, that was my little therapy. I was like, "Oh my God." So
no, and that's a way of reparenting yourself, is giving it back to yourself, and I think that people need to do those little simple things just to love themselves and have fun and have pleasure, and replace painful memories with beautiful ones, and that's part of healing. So that's really cool.
And another thing I used to do with my husband, when we first started dating, I noticed that and we started talking about how they were so poor, he never got toys.
Oh.
So, yep, guess what I did? And he used to love dinosaurs. So when I was out and about, if I saw like a toy dinosaur, he could put it, on his computer desk. And I would get him like toys, like really cool ones, like robots or dinosaurs. And you're right, it does replace it, because he was so excited. I said, "You don't sit it there. It's just something I gave you." But it replaces that what you didn't get. Like my sister and I never went to Disney World, and so what we did is we went in our 30s. We were like 35. We went to Disney World, and we just acted like complete kids. And you know what? Totally made up for it. Totally made up for it.
Yeah, that's the beauty. And this is a vision that I saw when I was writing my book, Angels in the OR, which is the more serious book.
Yeah. Oh, it's very profound, especially your abuse and things that happen, and how you would never believe, as beautiful a woman as you are, the hell that you've been through, and that you had to wear a body cast. How many months?
Oh, yeah, it was close. It was a 9-month recovery, but 4 months in the body cast. But what I saw was like my higher self and my older self parenting, like the grandmother me parenting the child me, and the person in her middle years, that there is someone wise at the end of our lives, and we kind of know it. It's the bookend of who we are, and somehow I connected to her, and somehow I knew that it would all be okay, that my soul was deep, and it understood this journey, and the me at the end could help the me in the middle. And I think we all need to remember that, no matter where we are at the journey, the us that is eternal too, and the part of us that is still in heaven, can help us here now.
I agree with that too. That there's a part of us still there that's helping us here. Good. I didn't know. I've never heard anyone else say that. I believe that too. There's a part of, because we're multifaceted. My goodness. I mean, we're huge. So I think a part of us is there. And I often have talked to my little girl. It's okay now. I understand you're upset. I got this now. It's okay.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, so people want to know the self-worth. I think that great things, that just to kind of summarize what you were talking about, is the bubble bath. So first of all, recognizing something's negative, you don't like it, doesn't make you feel good. You don't need to hang in there 6 months to find out and get more of it. And to recognize that, pluck it out, or put the boundaries. And little things like you were talking about the bubble bath, or I bought the Barbie. Big deal. I put it there. It makes me laugh when I see a Barbie who looks like me, who has a chicken farm. I just think it just makes me laugh. And toys. If you like toy trains, there was a producer I read on the BBC once, and it came through. I said, "You want to?" A grandfather came through and talked about a pocket watch, then said, he used to buy you toy trains, very expensive, and said, "No, you're looking at this thing, but you need to have a toy train that goes all the way around." Because I've been wanting to do that, but he was afraid to do it because he's a grown up.
Oh,
Who cares? Do the toy train. I mean, you know, guess what? My husband just bought me bass. I'm going to learn to play funk bass and
oh,
play disco. Oh yeah. Oh
nice.
yeah. I'm going to start a girl band.
I want to be in it. I play piano.
Well, you're the singer, Tricia. You look great. You have a great voice. You can sing for us. So, well, look, are there any other final words that you would like to tell the viewers?
Yeah, that I'll just reiterate, meditation and prayer can move blocks from us. And working with an energy healer or someone who understands the journey that you've been through can be so important as well. You know, healing is multifaceted, from the body to the mind. You know, I'm not going to discredit traditional therapy. I've had years of it, but it seems like energy healing was that piece that just took it to new levels and
Oh,
really,
really?
you know, skyrocketed that healing. So it's like years of therapy plus energy healing plus body work plus taking care of myself. You know, like there's a lot that goes into it, but you can heal and you can be in such a better place than you were, and than you might have been without that healing.
Absolutely. And actually, if you go on Tricia's YouTube channel, which is Near Death Experience Healed by the Light, she has a lot of meditation and also some energy healers that I've seen on there. So I need to look at that too, because that could be very helpful to learn some techniques. I'm sure they go over techniques or breathing techniques or different things. I think what I'm kind of really feeling about this, it's really you owning you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just look a little bit at a time, like you said, and you're doing the yoga now. You look so cute in that photograph doing your yoga, but you're investing in you.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's the best thing to do at, say it's a romantic relationship with a narcissist and you ended that. You just go ahead and shine 100% because they were trying to take away your shine. They were jealous of you on some level. They didn't want you to be fully you because that took away from their control. So you just be 100% you. Don't let anyone tell you how to be you. You be you.
Well, look, and I know you help a lot of people too. So look below on Tricia's website, and I know you also do spiritual healing readings, medium readings, and that you are available for consultation if they want to get a hold of you, because you have so much love to share. And if they don't get enough on your YouTube channel and your articles and your books, then they can actually hire you. So thank you so much for being on here today. I think you're such a love and joy to the world. I'm really glad God decided to bring you back.
Well, thank you. You too. You are such a love bug yourself, and this message is so important right before Valentine's Day. So thank you.
Thank you, and happy Valentine's Day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.